So I hope that this will be the last video like this that you will watch in order for you to start taking action on whatever it is that you have been procrastinating about for however long you've been procrastinating about it. Because I want to talk about, and maybe from the title you have an idea of what this is about, but I want to talk about having intention and actually having a target to aim for in order to achieve whatever you want to be achieving in life. Now, this is aimed and directed towards anybody in the kind of entrepreneurial online money space, the self-help communities online, but this does also just apply to anyone that has a passion, that deep down you do recognize there is a purpose for you there. You find fulfillment in some activities, you have a hobby of some kind or maybe multiple hobbies, and generally you realize you're just kind of trying to find the right direction for you. Now, hopefully this video will be the last one you need to watch in order for you to be able to finally make that thing click in your head and then it just starts working for you. Or maybe you do need another 5 or 10 videos for it to finally click, because sometimes it just takes that one quote, that one phrase or word that someone says to you, whether it's in person or on a video from a stranger you're watching online, for it to just click in your mind, and then you might not necessarily take action from that moment, but it might be the next day or the next week or the next month or the next year. You think back to that moment and it gives you a realization or a new awareness, a new perspective to then set a target for and go for it. So, like I said, this video is all about intention. And the reason I wanted to make a video about intention is because in the online community I'm in, a free online community, there's thousands of people in it, and of the people I've spoken to in voice chats in the Discord server I've been in over the past year, and especially in private, DMs I've been in with, so many people don't have intention, or at least the right intention for them. And what I mean by this is that, especially if you're in the online money space or in the entrepreneurial self-help communities, you will so often hear, what is the most profitable business to start? What's the most profitable business model? What business should I be in? What's this? What's that? What should I be aiming for? How can I get rich quick? How can I make money online very easily without much struggle or effort? Now, I've made videos already about entrepreneurship, building a business, growing a business, starting a business from nothing, taking risks, seeking purpose in all of it. And wherever that will be, one of these top ones, whichever card it will play in, maybe, hopefully. I've made a video all about building a business, and if your passion is business and problem solving to do with anything connected to what you're passionate about, then that's a whole other story about it not necessarily being easy. It might be simple, but it won't necessarily be easy. But that's because there's no fulfillment or sense of purpose or achievement in easy. So, although funny enough, that's actually my business, my business's name. But then again, it's all about desired outcomes. So, it's meant to be an easy fix. So that's why it's called that. But this video is specifically about intentions, because that's what you need in life for whatever you're aiming for. If you don't have an intention, if you don't have a goal or set of goals that you're aiming for, then you don't know what you're aiming for, and then you don't know the smaller goals you're aiming for, and then generally in life you just have no purpose towards, something to achieve. Now, you may have a purpose, or you may have something that you find fulfilling, or something that you're desiring, that you're aiming for in life. But if it's no more than just a desire in your life, then you still don't have a target that you're aiming for. If your idea is just you love art, you love design, you love film, you love TV, you love comedy, whatever it might be, if that's all you're working with right now is those words, I love X, I love Y, I love Z, whatever it might be, nice rhyme, then you're not giving yourself the tools that are the target to aim for to help you achieve that. Because it's kind of natural mechanics of human nature that we need something to aim for in order to achieve it. if we can't see the target or we can't identify what the target looks like, then we don't actually know how to, we're just aimless, literally. So if you want to achieve anything, you have to set a certain target, even if the target's quite loose to begin with. But as long as you can kind of see it and you at least know roughly where you're aiming for, because you need an aim in order to be able to actually achieve it. And so that's why intention is so important. And if you were to ask a highly successful person, I use quotation marks for that because highly successful can mean various different things. Obviously, in the online money space, it's kind of financially successful, or I'd say it's just anyone that has followed intention, followed goal setting, followed plans and planning. If you ask them what is their intention or what's your intention, they might not follow the word intention, but they will presume you mean like what's your plans, what's your goals, and they will actively tell you whatever they're working on. Because typically people that are following their passions, following their intentions with plans, with to-do lists, with goals, goal setting, they have intention behind what they're doing, and therefore they know what they're aiming for, even if it's roughly long term, but it's more and more precise and actionable short term, down to the days and weeks, that they know what they're aiming for so they can actually start achieving that. Whereas an unsuccessful person that might, they might not even know what they want to be doing, but even if you do know a little bit about what you want to be doing, because you kind of understand what fulfills you and what you're passionate about, if you still don't have intention with what you're doing, if you're still not working towards certain projects, certain goals, then you are aimless and you won't get where you want to be. And it is as simple as that. In everything I've done now, and this is why I'm making this as well, because in the past few years, especially I would say in the past couple of months for me, as of the very beginning of April 2024, massive life changes recently as well. Exponential life changes actually in the past couple of months. But in this past couple of months and about a few years ago and up to a couple of years ago, some major life events and life changes that made me realize how powerful intention really is. Now, tiny bit of a backstory for me, but obviously it's just, I just want to briefly explain it for some, context. My passion is filmmaking and business now. And I didn't actually realize my passion for business until I kind of woke up to the whole entrepreneurship and personal development space around the end of 2020 going into 2021. Like slap bang in the middle of the COVID times. And at that time, it massively woke me up to the entrepreneurship space. I learned a lot about the financial system and how the banking system works and everything. And then as of 2023, I kind of woke up to literally everything else about the world, and maybe go down that rabbit hole, quite literally on multiple rabbit holes in another video, or maybe on Rumble, who knows, maybe too much for YouTube, but that's in those areas. But what I realized is that intention is so powerful and so necessary that without intention, you don't have a target. And then without a target, you really are hopeless. And I've sensed the opposite of that once I've had hope, once I've had intention, and once I've had a goal. For instance, when I finished one of the projects I was working on in 2021, I realized as we were finishing it, and then as I've been working on a couple of different film and online web series projects with my filmmaking friends and my best friends, I've not realized until those moments how important intention and goals are. Because certainly in my life, my creative side of my life, which is my filmmaking and my storytelling, I didn't actually have my first feature film idea until around a month or two ago. And actually my feature film. I've had feature film ideas based off friends' ideas and based off working off other short films and other short projects together, but I didn't actually have my first feature film idea, which is just a film, like theatrical length film idea, until nearly a month or two ago. And it was what made me realize that I've been helping my friends and my filmmaking, passionate filmmaking friends with they're projects that I'm passionate about as well because it's creativity and it's filmmaking for me. But although we have those goals, which gave me intention, and is the whole point of this piece right now, this story, I then didn't realize how important intention was until I actually felt the desire to finally make my own piece. And it's why I started making notes for it and start writing out the theory side of it in the past couple of months. But now, over these past couple of years, I had that kind of same sense of, well, where's the intention with the business side of it? And it wasn't until the end of 2022 for me, and then now the end of 2023 into 2024, that I realized again in terms of the business side of my life, how powerful intention really is. Because when you don't know what you're aiming for, you're really clueless and you're really hopeless. And you really are struggling to know what to aim for because, again, without intention, you have no target. And then without a target, you have nothing to aim for. And if you have nothing to aim for, then you're just going to be in this day by day and month by month and lifetime spiral of aimlessness. And if you truly want to find what fulfills you, and if you actually know to some extent what does fulfill you and what you do find passionate, what you do find passion in doing, then that's amazing, and capitalize fully on that, because you need to follow that with intention. Because if you don't make an action plan, even rough action plans, even if it's just what you roughly want to be doing within 10 years, within 5 years, and then within a year, the more step-by-step and actionable plans you have for your passions in your life, even if they're just rough goals. Obviously, the thing with setting deadlines for things is it does help us. We need deadlines in our lives, but we also need to not discourage ourselves if those deadlines are coming up and we still haven't achieved that thing, because the whole point of a deadline, disregarding like school homework deadlines from back in educational times. If you're in educational now, you understand it. But the whole point of a deadline for our human nature is that we need something to aim for. We need an end date, but we need to not discourage ourselves if we're not hitting that end date for that target, because the whole point of that target is it basically gave us action. It gave us this sense of urgency and action that we want to do this thing because we find it fulfilling. And we're going to aim for this date. Doesn't matter if we don't hit it, but we're going to aim for it because it's giving us the drive we need to actually pursue the thing we want to pursue. And in order to pursue it in the first place, we actually need to have those deadlines. Even if it's just, we don't want like one at the very end. Oh, by the time I die, I want to make my favorite film. Okay, well, make some actionable ones. Make ones that are at least a few occasions in your life. You want to have done this every year, or every few years you want to have worked on this, or every 10 years you want to have made this piece. Once you start creating more actionable steps in your life, you'll start having more drive to do them, because you'll have a sense of urgency behind what you find fulfilling, which is the ultimate ambition for your entire life. Drive towards what you find fulfillment in. And so I think one of the final pieces, to not make this a massively long video, as I'm around 13 minutes now, is really just, focusing on the intention, and obviously finding that drive and the fulfillment to do it. But this actually comes from a going back to kind of entrepreneurship space, which I presume most people are coming for anyway. But again, if you're not in the kind of online money space, this is still vital. And obviously, this is a vital thing for anybody who's listening, anybody who's watching. But this entire point of this video can also be summarized by something that a motivational speaker and kind of self-help author Brian Tracy came up with. And he explained, the power of setting goals, basically, which is all about intention and intentionality. Because if you don't set goals, like I said, you don't know what to aim for and you're aimless, and then you just have no drive and ambition with what you want to be doing anyway. So if you set one goal for your life, I love doing this thing, I love doing X, I find this fulfilling, this is my passion, then you need, okay, what's my 10-year goal? Then what's my 5-year goal? Then what's my 3-year goal? Then what's my 1-year goal? And then what on your 1-year goal, create, let's say, 3 big goals or 4 big goals for, the 4 quarters of the year, or 12 smaller goals for each month. And then after those 12 small goals, you have the 4 goals for this month, because it's 4 weeks in a month roughly, or whatever it might be. And then you'll realize how you can take that top one, whatever it might be. Let's say in 10 years, you want to have built a successful, within 10 years, you want your own white labeled, I don't know, alcohol brand. And then in 5 years, that's the end goal. And in 5 years, you want to be at least working with white label businesses. And then within 3 years, the 3 years, you want to be, again, you're reverse engineering the process here. Within 3 years, you want to have had a successful e-commerce business that, has physical locations and warehouses maybe. So within a year, you want to have had a successful drop shipping business or online store of some kind. So what are the goals for this year in order to achieve that? Maybe it's just 4 goals for 4 quarters, or maybe it's 12 goals for 12 months. And then you work down and down from there until you get to the weekly goals, when it's like, okay, first things first, what's the name of my business? Then what's my store going to be? What's this? What's that? What products am I want to sell? And then you're just working your way back from that top goal, which is whatever it was. In this case, it's like the random example of like a white label alcohol business or something, working all the way back to what's the name of my first online store, or whatever the fulfilling passion might be for you. Find what that is for you. But you can search like Brian Tracy, like goal setting list, because it's reverse engineering your entire life goals, basically, from what do you want to be known for, or what do you want to do, and what's fulfilling in your life. Work back from that, have like a big, like 10 or 20 year goal, then like a 5 or 10 year goal, then like a 1 to 3 year, and then month by month, and then like week by week and month by month. Because the smaller the goals are and more achievable, the more actionable they are. We know what to aim for with the smaller ones. Day by day, actionable goals and achievable goals. Month by month, we achieve so much more. Annually, we achieve insane amounts more. And then in our lives, we move mountains. And this is how, the most successful people operate, is they do daily actionable, achievable tasks, like just attend a board meeting, which moves this needle forward. But then in the entire year, they've moved the needle forward a whole 10 or 20% compared to the micro percentages in the days and weeks. And then you look, and they've added 20% or 30% to their company in the year, because they've done all these developments. So it's all about actionable goals, so that you actually achieve massive amounts. And this is kind of like the compound effect of 1% better every day, which is 37 times better by the end of the year. If you've never read before, reading a page, even if you started with a page a day, if you've never read before, 365 pages by the end of the year, even if you didn't add one per week or something at the end of it, that's like an entire book, an entire big book in a year, if you've never read before, by 1 page a day on average. And then adding the compound effect to that, 37 times more, it can really add up. But anyway, I kind of sidetracked from intention there, but the whole point of this is really, have intention with what you find fulfilling, and create actionable goals. And be sure to check out Brian Tracy's goal setting guidebook, or whatever it was. But whatever it is, whether you are in the self-help space or not, whether you want to build an online store, or you want to make short films like I do as well, or want to make feature films, or want to own a whiskey company, I don't know, whatever it is, set actionable and achievable goals so that you can achieve the things you want to achieve. And that's the end of the emotional but motivational rant. And best of luck with it all. Wish you all the best, and good luck with finding your fulfillment and passion in all of your endeavors. And aim high, because you want to aim high. Terrible way to end it, but just, there you go. But thanks for watching nonetheless, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.